Hello.
Hi. Hello. Welcome to Knitting Around LA Live. And this is our year in review episode. I'm Judy.
And
And,
I'm Julie.
and for those of you who are watching us live, you are welcome, please, to leave comments, say hello. Let us know you're out there in the audience. We would really appreciate that.
Yeah.
So, well, it's been quite a year, hasn't it?
It has been quite a year. This also could be called the "Let's put this year in the rear view" show. But yeah, do you remember January? I mean, if we're going to review the year, here we are. A year ago, we had no idea on this earth we would do the things we did this year.
No.
I mean, you truly never do, but holy cow.
Yeah, we couldn't have ever foreseen this.
Yeah.
I mean, even right up until it almost hit us between the eyes, we still were pretty oblivious.
Yeah, and we've done things that we would never have thought to do, and so we started off the year. I mean, do you remember? Babita says hello. So, do you want to tease that Babita just agreed to be our guest in February?
Yeah. She's a friend, and she is an author, and she has agreed to be a guest of ours. This is a teaser coming up in February. She has a fabulous book, and she's going to share it with us in February. So, hi, Babita.
And she's a former student of yours?
Yes. She's a former student.
Hi, Babita. Thank you for being here. Okay.
2020. What happened? What was going on in January for us?
It took me hours to try and remember exactly what we did for New Year's.
Yeah.
2020, and finally, I didn't go looking back through photos. That would have been an easy way. But Sarah McGovern.
Oh, Sarah! Hi, sweetie. That's so perfect.
Hi, Sarah. So, did you go to my next door neighbors for New Year's?
I don't think so.
Because I know that.
I don't know. I don't know. It was so long ago. It's possible. I remember having to come home in an Uber.
Oh, you were at Helene's.
I was at Helene's then, because Patrice and I shared an Uber.
Well, yes, then you were at Helene's.
Well, so I guess I was at Helene's party.
Irv and I went to his cousins out in Agoura, and because now I remember, they did a great party. They had a backdrop for photos and 2020, and we had no freaking idea what was about to hit us. And
that was a good thing.
What?
That was a good thing we didn't know.
Oh yeah, it would have. Yeah, but I don't think we went next door when we got home, because we were talking about because we didn't come home at 9 o'clock. Because often we'll wait till the ball drops in New York. It's midnight. We come home. That's
right.
That's the West Coast. Get out of
New Year's.
Get out of New Year's early. But so anyway, that was that. And where should we start? Should we talk about?
Let's talk January. Let's talk about, let's say, some of our knitting, our crafting work. And you in particular in January had an inspiration that I think you were prompted by something online.
It was. And I should have looked it up. I'll find her name, and the hashtag was #StashDown2020, and her Instagram handle is Brown Girl Knits, and it just came across my feed, and I kind of followed it, and I loved it. We talked about it in here on. Let me take a look.
But for those of
hold on. Give me a second. Okay. We talked about it. I think it was episode 10. In episode 10 of this show, and it was you and I. And so anyway, the idea of Stash Down 2020 was that you first inventoried your stash of yarn before the end of 2019, make a list, come up with projects and patterns, and then knit your stash. And I love the idea that it resonated with me right away, and I launched into it. And actually,
yeah, you really did. You took the bull by the horns on that one.
And I want to show my Ravelry, just my Ravelry page really quickly, because
you were helping me to try to do that, and helping me get coordinated with and organized with my yarn.
So this little dog sweater here was one of my first projects of January, and I made it for Patrice, and it was old stash. So that's Amelia's dog sweater, and so put a pin in that, and we'll remember that and come back to it. And let's do this. This looks better. Mm-hmm. So yeah, so I started knitting down my stash, and I started the dog sweater. Let me take a look. I got to remind myself.
Was it at that time? Did you put all of your yarn online and Ravelry? Is everything documented, or that never got?
Oh yeah,
it's all
I did. But you know, a lot of it isn't, because it was also part of it was there was like this little discussion. It's like, you know, there's no rules. There's no stash down police. So yeah. A bunch of this stuff is not in my stash on Ravelry, and even the yarn for the dog sweater, that's something that never even got into my stash, but it's here. It is in my stash. It's in my drawers. But a lot of it, this is in my stash. I still have a lot left over. This is one of my pandemic sweaters, one of my stash down sweaters. But I've done a pretty good knitting down my stash.
Oh, you've been fantastic. Are you kidding? You've been amazing what you've worked through, and how many pieces of garments and blankets you've made. You're amazing. You're almost like a knitting crochet machine.
Well, you know, I
say that with reverence, because I'm not.
Oh. Yeah, but you know, as you know, I've been doing it for a long time. And it's just part of being an artist, where you produce things and you get things done. And besides, I love it, and it's in my blood. But I started off with, anyway, I don't know. I don't want to list everything, but I do want to list everything. I just don't know if I can. So I started with Stash Down 2020, and I had a big bin, you know, like we have yarn in big bins, the big plastic containers. And I had one full of baby yarn. It's gone. I've used it up.
How many blankets did you make?
Well, you remember the first one that was, it ended up being an adult personal size blanket. I thought it was going to be a baby blanket.
Right. That was the one with the pastel colors.
Yep. Oops. What did I do? I'm trying to manage the
Ravelry page.
Now I'm trying to manage the platform here at the same time as talking. This one. And so this was just row upon row of double crochet. And it turned out better than I could ever have dreamed.
It was so pretty.
Yep. And that was it that I gifted to my daughter's roommate. And I've been there. She keeps it on her bed, which makes me very happy. And then later in the year, I made 4 more baby blankets. I'll show them in a minute. And this came, well, I'm getting ahead of us. So January, I started Stash Down 2020. Do you remember we went on a wine tasting trip?
Oh, we went to Paso Robles.
We did.
That was fabulous. Oh my God, that was so much fun.
Yes.
We went to wineries and we drank wine and we stayed at a hotel and we had a driver that took us around.
We ate good food. We went with my next door neighbor's father.
Yes.
Helene's father-in-law, and it was Helene, Patrice, you and me.
Dom.
And Helene's father-in-law is Dominic. Without a care in the world, even all in the same car, in crowded restaurants. Oh my God. And it was February. It was February.
We had a blast. It was like Valentine's gift to ourselves. It was so much fun.
Yep. So
red wine.
You realize that was February.
Seems like a lifetime ago.
Yeah. We came back from that and went to Stitches.
Oh, Stitches. Stitches West was a high point. Those knitting conventions, the fiber conventions, because it's more than just knitting, was something you turned me on to relatively recently. I'd say in the past, 3 years, maybe?
Yeah.
About that. And we would go to them up in Santa Clara.
Yeah.
At the convention center, they have it up there. And then they actually had 2 of them here in SoCal, up in Pasadena at the convention center there. And we'll cross our fingers that things will come back and we'll get to go and do them again. But they are so much fun. So much
fun. And we actually flew. We've driven many times. We've driven. Well, you flew. I've driven.
I've driven with you as well. I went up with you as well.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We ran out of. Never mind. But this time we decided to fly because my daughter Samantha comes down from Berkeley, where she used to live. And we didn't hardly use the car, but we had the car. Although not last year, in 2018, we went to San Jose to go to the Textile and Quilt Museum to see their fabulous exhibit. Mm-hmm. But so here we are, 2020. We flew into San Jose Airport. We were in Santa Clara, California at the convention center with thousands of people the 3rd week of February. Yep. Now, getting back to knitting, since I was dedicated to Stash Down, I only bought 3 skeins of yarn the whole time I was there.
Oh, I didn't buy a great deal either, but I did buy some very unusual yarns, one of which was from Sam's Guild. Help me.
No, it's from
someone from the
guild. Chase, who owns Black Squirrel.
Yes.
I think it's Black Squirrel Gallery in Berkeley. It's a knitting shop in Berkeley.
Yeah.
She's closed. She has not reopened from the pandemic. But selling online, I'm on her list. I follow them on Instagram. They have the just incredible, these pastel, but they're black light. They glow under black light, but they're pastel. Pastel black light yarns.
Yeah, I had to. I mean, yeah. And they also have great graphics. They had some really wonderful prints. They sold out right away. I tried to get my hands on one, gone. But
yeah, Sam has a t-shirt and a project bag.
Yeah, lucky. Sam is lucky.
But so but I bought something at Chase's booth. I bought a couple things from Neighborhood Fiber Company. Do you want to talk about the wonderful people that we know from Instagram and from knitting podcasts who we met?
Oh,
Okay, so this is I tried to get these photos into a better platform. I couldn't. I ran out of time, but here they are. And let me start with and see if is that sharing.
no, I see the.
Okay, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let me try again. So looking ahead to what part of our discussion is, part of what we've done in 2020 is adopting technology like we never expected to.
All right, this is Gigi, and she is one of our Instagram. We admire her. She's a knitter. I think now she's really an Instagram influencer.
Oh, absolutely.
She's
amazing. Gigi single-handedly made orange like the most popular color of 2020.
Tosh came out with her color orange named after her.
Yeah. But not only that, you go through Instagram and things that aren't even directly related to Gigi that don't even mention her. There's orange all over the place. People are doing orange yarns. People are doing projects in orange. And so, I mean, it's just definitely admirable. And
she's amazing. And we were like major fangirls at this show.
Absolutely.
I mean, unabashedly.
We went into, we saw her in the hotel restaurant, and we're sitting there and we're like to each other,
oh my God, it's Gigi.
And she's with somebody and they're talking and we don't want to interrupt. And finally we did interrupt. Okay.
Oh my God.
And then here's somebody else we're a fan of. Is this on screen?
That's Brooklyn Boy Knits. That's Louis
Boria, who is just...
And he's another delight. Oh my God.
Let me see if I can. Yes. Now, I mean, we haven't
bugs too.
So of course, we're not going to get through this without talking in depth about COVID-19 and the pandemic. And he had a bout of it. He's a healthcare worker. He had a bout of it. Fortunately,
he recovered.
And we see him on. I mean, still see him online a lot.
He's a major presence. He also is a huge friend of Gigi's. Also, string. We're not going to be able to, my lips are going to twist around.
You know what?
String Thing Studio in Brooklyn. And he's amazing. And he's done a huge, I think, amount of PR and credibility reach for encouraging men in fiber arts, crochet. He would knit on the subway.
Yes.
And he
got
gained
lots
fame.
of it. Yeah.
And
he Gigi and their whole community has done a lot to influence the knitting world to be more inclusive.
Absolutely.
And Vogue, before the pandemic, before Stitches, Vogue Knitting Live at their January show in New York made great strides towards more inclusivity, and they had a fabulous fashion show that he helped curated and put together, and also was the announcer for. I think I'm getting it right. So let me see if I got. Oh, and here's Marley Bird. Are you there?
No, not yet.
Oh, we can't see it. Okay, I'm just still trying to figure out how this works.
Marley Bird is another, not just Instagram. She's also a huge YouTuber. She's a teacher, and all around fun, hilarious, wonderful woman. She's grand. And she used to host the Friday night pajama parties for the conventions. And they were a hoot. We can't talk about them because what happens in the pajama party stays in the pajama party. There she is. Yep. She's awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Okay, so okay, here. And so now I have to admit, I have fallen off of watching the YouTube knitting videos. I still watch the
this is Opera Joe for those, and she's been posting. I think she's been doing a Vlogmas.
Yeah,
and she's also obviously avid knitter. She is also fun, great knitter. Lives up in San Francisco, the Bay Area. She's super neat.
Okay. And who we also met. So this Stitches was really, there was really a lot of great people that we know from YouTube on there, down there, and we ran into all these great people. It was fun. We didn't do that much shopping. Tracy,
here's half of the grocery girls, and they're sisters from Canada. I'm not positive where.
Edmonton.
This is Tracy and her sister Jody, who wasn't here at the show. Have a very well subscribed YouTube and Instagram channels. They're wonderful. They're
and so they actually, it's been interesting. They continued to get together because they work together. They see each other all the time. They continued to get together to shoot, and they went to just shooting live and no longer editing. And they show all kinds of yarn and project bags and patterns and their knitting in progress. They were like a big inspiration to us.
Yes.
Now, they have just in the last couple of weeks, because the pandemic has just been overtaking so many of our cities worldwide, and the number of people sick has been increasing. Their city put on much tighter restrictions than they ever had before. Jody and Tracy have been going live on Instagram in their separate houses and not getting together. The last few times they've we call it podcasting, but it's YouTube video podcasting.
Yeah. The pandemic has been a challenge, I think, for everyone. And
hold on. I'm sorry to interrupt. So hold on. So the reason I mentioned San Jose, Santa. So we flew home at the third week in February. We flew home. We went the following week. We went with our guild, Nerdy Knitters of the San Fernando Valley. Like, was it 10 of us? Rented a house together and we did our retreat, and that was March 6th through 8th. We came home Monday, March 9th, and we're beginning to get the message, buy 2 weeks supply of food, stock up on food.
No, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Okay, and hold on. Sorry. I'm going somewhere with this. A couple months later, we found out that the first cases of COVID actually in California had been in Santa Clara. And a couple weeks after we came back, it was on the news that a TSA worker at San Jose Airport had COVID. And that was right before the Bay Area went on. They issued safer at home or shelter in place orders. A week later, we got our safer at home orders, and it was like we we knew COVID existed, but we were just darn lucky.
We were.
All of us, everybody who had been in that convention center and that airport, and we were just darn lucky.
Yeah, yeah.
And so here we are, darn lucky, still darn lucky.
Yes. Yep.
And then I knitted a lot. Talk a little bit about your knitting journey.
Well, right at that time, at the beginning, and I think you said I posted it on episode 10, I started the year off with a Fair Isle hat. Oh, actually, I bought the yarn from the convention.
You bought it at SoCal when I was on vacation.
SoCal, okay. And it was Shetland wool, which I'd never worked with before, super sticky and interesting yarn to work with. And I was actually looking for Lopi, which is a Icelandic wool that I had wanted to get. But at any rate, the yarn was fun, interesting, and I used a pattern that I picked up that had sheep on it it was really adorable. And that was my first project. I've gifted that to my daughter's boyfriend, Sean the sheep. So Sean got a sheep hat. And then from there, I went into, I was knitting at that point, and I finished my little silly socks, which I actually have. These, I did these. This is my third pair of socks, but the first pair that I've
hold on. Oh shoot, hold on. I gotta find the right button. Do you know I've never seen those finished?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, and they fit like a glove. Ha ha ha. They're a sock. I'm so corny. Sorry.
Okay. No, that's fine. You're fine.
Yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
Have you washed those yet?
Oh yeah. I've worn them, washed them, worn them. These were toe up socks using the magic Judy Becker's magic loop.
Magic Caston.
Afterthought heels. These have afterthought heels. So I did a lot of learning on these.
But you did those on double points, and you did on double points one at a time.
Yeah, I did double points for the first one using magic loop. Don't do that. I learned, use circulars for the magic loop. And anyway.
Well, you can't do magic loop on double points.
No. Yeah, I didn't, but I did. I try to use her magic loop. I try to do the toe. I try to do the toe
on a circular.
I don't. Whatever.
Oh no. Doing that cast on is much easier on a circular needle because you pull one needle through and it's on the cord and it's flexible. Exactly. It's really hard on double points.
Yeah, and the first pair I did using double points, and it was so tight, it was impossible. It was ridiculous. So when I did the second sock, I did use circular because, like you said, when you pull it off the needle, the cord itself is thinner than the needle, so it gives you room to manipulate.
Yeah, so it's the flexibility of the cord helps too. And it's doing the first couple rows of the toe is really challenging. Yeah.
So it's
a great cast on. It's my preferred cast on for the socks that I will probably.
Sure. Once you learn it, it's like a no-brainer. Why did I ever do it any other way?
Because there's no seam there.
Nope.
If you're careful, there's no knot there.
Nope. It's really good.
Yeah. But I don't know if I will ever really do that many socks. And that comes back to, I'll tell you why later.
All right. And then my other knitting that I did this year.
Oh, wait, there was something else I was going to, so those socks, do you wash them by hand in air?
No. I put them in one of those little lingerie bags, a little one, zip it up, throw it in, and it goes with the regular wash, goes in the dryer.
Is that yarn a blend?
The washable marine, the washable wool.
And it hasn't shrunk and it hasn't felted? Huh.
No, they're wonderful. They're
Because
one.
I had my one pair of socks that I knitted.
Yeah,
I've ruined them. I
really.
can't wear them anymore
Oh my goodness.
from throwing them in the washer and the dryer.
No, these are great. I'll have to look up and I'll tell you.
Because if it's a blend, that if there's a little bit of nylon in that yarn,
It might have been an 80-20.
well, that's all the difference.
Yeah, could have been an 80-20.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't 100%. 80,
okay.
80-20. So at any rate.
No, that's great to know. That's great to know because yeah, I can't see myself hand washing a pair of socks every time I wear them.
No.
It's just me.
Okay. All right. Then continuing with my knitting, I switched to cotton and did a baby.
Oh, you still have it?
Well, because the baby was just born only a couple months ago, and he's tiny, and this is like a toddler size. So I guess I'll wait and give it to his parents. When
I would just. Older. Do you know when my kids were born, we got clothes that were up to 2 years, and I was putting those clothes on those kids for a couple of years from all the gifts that we got.
Well, maybe I'm going to wait till after the holidays with all of the mail issues and stuff. I'll send it in the new year. But yeah, so I did 2 of them, and one I sent off, a long time ago, and then I have this one which I was just hanging on to.
That's cool. I'm glad you still had it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was what I pretty much ended my knitting with this year. Although I did other things. I changed the direction of where I was going.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Oh, yes. So, but let me just, I'm playing with Windows on this computer. Okay. So yes, so the pandemic struck and here we were.
Yeah.
So, and then our episode 11 was like April 7th. We had already been in lockdown for nearly a month. And this is when we started doing this virtually, you and I, and no longer together. And so let me just interject that and continue what you were saying, because you've been through quite an evolution this year and on a different journey. I mean, for me, it was just keep knitting, just keep knitting, just keep knitting. And I finished the Waiting for Rain shawl. I finished in 2020. I've given that away. Let me see. The baby, that blanket I talked about, the Waiting for Rain shawl, the dog sweater. And then I actually, when we went on lockdown, air quotes, lockdown, I was just sitting around knitting thinking, is it okay for me to just be knitting all day? And it's like, yeah, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And you?
So I took a completely different tangent. And I had to look for something that I had misplaced in my studio, which was at that time a massive hellhole of book. Massive.
Well, now, hold on. I just have to let the world know. It did not look like a massive hellhole of, what did you call it?
Yeah, it was a massive hellhole.
Yeah,
out of hoarders.
No, I've seen hoarders. For our artist friends, and they'll understand this, it just was a regular studio. Go on, Judy.
All right. So being in a regular studio,
Yes.
it was like it was to me it was it got to the point where it wasn't functioning
Yeah.
because at the time I wanted to do some experimenting with drawing and watercolors. So there was a particular tool that I was looking for, and it was these set of pencils that were I knew I had bought them. I knew they were in the studio. I knew I had seen them, but I couldn't find them.
Yeah.
And
I've been there. We've
yeah,
all been there. We've all been there.
it's horrible because you when you want to work, you want to work.
Mhm.
And you want to set your stuff out, whether it's knitting or crochet, or you want to be able to put your hands on your tools. And
Mhm.
when you can't, like, that was an immense frustration.
Absolutely.
I was pissed at myself because everything was sort of lumped, and that feeling of not being, the knowing it's there, and it just ruined it ruined the creative drive that I had at the moment because I couldn't fulfill it.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
'cause because I mean, we go along. A lot of us do this, and you do stuff, and you just kind of put something back, and you clear space on
yeah,
your table or whatever you have,
yeah, yeah,
and you grab stuff and bring it out, and you do stuff, and then you kind of put it away, and you clear space, and then you get to a point where you want to get stuff, and so it's like, oh, I need some of this, I need some of the, and you want to grab your stuff, and then suddenly
you can't.
it's like, where did I put that? And you've got this creative urge, and you're like looking all over the place, and then the frustration, I can't find it, I thought it was here, wait a minute, maybe it's there, and
And then,
that's when,
yeah,
I mean, I've had times like that where that's when I do a major cleanup, and it's days and days and days. You don't get to be creating at that time.
no,
And,
no. And what my major cleanup, because I got actually not just frustrated, I got I guess a bit angry at myself, that I had let it get to the point where it overshadowed my ability to do anything.
yeah, it really, and that's such a frustrating,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
defeating feeling. You
yeah.
have this
Defeating.
creative impulse, and
It
you
was
can't move
defeating.
forward with it.
It was defeating. And, compounding that for me with the pandemic, being isolated, even though I'm in a lovely place, just don't
Mhm.
get me wrong, people. I have a sweet home in an incredible community. I'm very, very lucky. And yes, I know it. But the fact that I was isolated, and now I felt that even my work I was isolated even from my work because I couldn't do it. So I couldn't engage with anybody. I couldn't do what I wanted to do. So I was just not in a happy place. I decided at that point, I have to do a deep dive.
Mm-hmm.
And by that, I mean, like a true hoarder, I
Yeah.
had to touch every single thing. And if my studio was a mess at the start, like before I began the deep dive, it took me 2.5 months of almost daily going through every single thing in my studio. And I did. And I did. I donated, even in the pandemic. I made boxes and boxes of art supplies and craft things and all sorts of things to donate. And I kept them behind. I made a huge pile. And when we did have a break, I read, couple months back, we had a little bit more of some flexibility. And I was able to take the donations, of course, using masks and all of those things. And I was able to take it to a location to have it given to, like, I think was Goodwill or something. And I freed up lots of space because I had duplicates, triplicates, quadruplicates of stuff.
Yeah.
And then in the process, I made very good friends with my label maker.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, now, and so by this time, do you remember what was it like July? June, July you started that? Because it was summer.
Yeah, I think I actually kind of finished it. I don't remember when I mean, you know, I'm not positive when I finished it, but it was it it was and it still is a really terrific exercise to do, even if you maybe don't need to do it as extensively as I had to do it. It was great to know what it was. It really gave me an opportunity to take inventory. So doing that and assigning drawers for my markers and pens, and drawers for printmaking, and drawers for knitting, drawers for tools for knitting, things of that nature, makes now the desire to do anything so much more fun, because I'm frustrated with where is it? I know where everything is.
Well, I have labels on my cabinets in here, and I did that. I moved into this room in the winter break of Samantha's last year in college, because I had the smallest bedroom, and she was going to be leaving, moving out. And we made this switch. It was a massive job. But when I put things in the cabinets with, the cousin to your best friend, my label maker, I labeled all these things, and I'm glad I did, because a lot of these cabinets I don't get into, and it's like, oh yeah, the elastics in that one, eyelets, hooks, Velcro, and zippers, and stuff like that. That's invaluable. But and that's, studio cleaning is an important process, and most artists and creative people will tell you that, and they have their stories of studio cleaning, but it's it's part of the creative process, actually. So,
well, when it blocks you, then I think you can't deny it anymore. And I felt much better once I got a handle on what was going on in the studio. And it also made me realize that I have a wealth, I don't have that much yarn, because I've really have been trying not to breed my yarn, because I don't want to have more than I'm going to realistically use. But it did make me realize that I did have that problem with my fabric. So to that extent, I have now lined up projects for fabric. So that.
Now, and like I said, that was and I was knitting, but now you and I mean, we were texting almost every day. We were talking on the phone, and then thank God we decided to just start getting on Zoom and just hanging out together on Zoom.
Oh, God, it was great.
Well, because I'll tell you, June and July were there. I had some really sad days along about there, and just being able to even spend time together on Zoom helped a lot. And you actually really inspired me, and I did a clean out and reorganization. I didn't spend 2.5 months doing it. I think I only spent about a week, but afterwards I was really glad. And everything is much more functional now too. And as you know, I have 2 rooms because they are my children's former bedrooms. And this room has fabric and knitting and the yarn. And now both of my sewing machines are in here. My loom is in here and stuff like that. And the other room has a lot of my trash art stuff, my wire and coiling. And actually, that's where all the trash is, the plastic bags and all of that stuff. And that room was much more messy than this room. And that was a lot of the focal point of my reorganization. But I redid shelving, and I got one of these baker's racks in that other room. And it's much more functional now. And I spent some time working on my coiling work.
You did a lot of really great pieces.
And I think we showed it well, and it's really fun, interesting now. I need to. I've been knitting a lot after I spent weeks and weeks and weeks. It was so hot in there too. Working on my coiling work, and then I picked up my knitting again, and now I'm focusing on my knitting and crochet again, and I'm not doing any of that. I don't know if I can organize my brain so I can work on both different types of work at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I should be able to, I can do whatever I want. I have a great deal of freedom in any, like, I don't, because I'm not doing paid work or much paid work. All this time, lots of time, all this time on our hands. But we've done this, and we've been doing a video almost every week since about September, October, and inspired by our friend Amy Bauer, who started.
Thank you, Amy.
Started a YouTube channel, Amy's Art Cabaret, and introduced us to this live stream platform, and we've been using it. And I feel like right now I have an urge to show knitting and crocheting.
Go for it.
Okay.
Go for it.
So early in the year, do you remember, when did I finish this? Did I finish this in 2020? I think so.
I think so too.
This didn't even make it into my projects list on Ravelry. And this was an attempt to design a shawl that just kind of ended up having a mind of its own.
Didn't you get some of that yarn from the Stash Exchange, or didn't something come from the Guild? The red.
This was a Stitches door prize. The red.
Okay.
It from 2018.
Okay.
It was from Maker's Mercantile, and it was either at the student banquet. I think it was at the student banquet. And so I started off thinking I was going to do a 2 skein shawl. And I realized
it didn't stay a two skein shawl.
Well, and I thought, now wait a minute, because I finished my Waiting for Rain shawl. It's a 2 skein shawl, and I wasn't happy with the size of it.
Oh, right. It was too small.
So I pulled out my Find Your Fade, which is a 7 skein shawl, and I went backwards and figured out, it's not a 2 skein shawl. 2 skein shawl is like 800 yards. Find Your Fade is a 1,600 yards shawl.
Mm-hmm.
So I swear to God, must have been in January. You and I we went shopping in person for yarn.
We did shop for that. Where did we wind up? We went to.
Okay, so.
Okay, right.
I think that the purple with the sequins, which is a gorgeous yarn, and it's in information somewhere. I think I got that at Zoe's. I think I got the dark purple at Zoe's. I got something. No, one of these I got at the Altered Stitch. I don't remember which one. And one of these or two of these I got at L'Atelier Encino.
Yeah.
So Zoe Knit Studio in Tarzana.
Right.
The Altered Stitch in...
Is that Burbank?
It's Valley Village.
Okay.
Which is Tarzana, Valley Village, and Encino are all parts of Los Angeles, just for those who don't know. And so I mean, and also our guild switched to Zoom meetings.
Mm-hmm.
That's been a really a great resource. Connecting with, being able to be with people, connecting with people, still being able to talk with friends about knitting, and talk about adopting technology as you and I have, and have struggled with it continuously ever since, up till and including
today,
an hour ago.
Yeah. Our guild has done amazing with it.
So we had our retreat. We were freaking lucky people.
Oh, wow.
We had our retreat March 6th through 8th.
Yeah.
And then we had to postpone all other events.
Yep.
But our guild leadership figured out how to do our stash exchange, which is usually, it started out as when I first joined the guild, it was, we had a room in a restaurant where we got to have a dedicated room in a restaurant with about 25 people. And we all brought stuff and took away different stuff. And it was always lots of fun. And the event has grown to where we had at a banquet center, the place we have wedding receptions, wedding receptions, and bar mitzvahs, and the knitting guild. What?
I said a big space. Yeah,
big space. And dinner. So then they do dinner for us. They serve dinner. They have a bar. And you said tables and tables and tables. And they figured out how to do it online.
Yes.
With, submitting things that we had to give away, and it got filled into a spreadsheet. Spreadsheets have saved the world, I think, this year. And there's the online raffle wheel. It's been one of the great tools.
Right. And we've actually reached out to some of the gals in our guild and hope that they're going to join us in 2021 and actually talk about the challenges of moving as a guild, a group into the electronic world.
Moving the guild, making things become virtual. Yeah.
So that's going to happen.
Now, I continued with my stash down. I did good. The big bin of baby yarn, I made that big blanket. It was like a adult personal blanket. So it was 54 inches wide by 72 long. Nice.
So size bed.
And then I made, after we eventually got to Election Day 2020, from Election Day, in 3 weeks, I made 4 baby blankets, and that baby yarn is all gone, except for little scraps. And I did show these, but this was number 3. It's going to go to somebody. It's going to be sent to a baby next May, to the parents of a baby who's on the way. And then number 4. And then by number 4, I was going into my leftover yarns from other projects, and not necessarily baby yarn. I love this one so much. So, and it's unassigned. This is a mystery baby to be named later.
And the other two have been mailed?
The other two have been mailed. My one young cousin posted on Facebook with the adorable baby boy with the blanket. And my nephew, they've received it. And
I think that's great.
it is.
So what are you currently working on?
God, I've gone back to where I have really a lot of things in.
Oh, you know what you finished this year that you didn't mention?
No, I've got it. I've got it. I didn't forget about it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so in the stash exchange, one of the things I bought or claimed was I'm going to try and do a screen share again. Oh, anyway, one of the things I claimed was from Darn Good Yarn, this sari silk. It's cut up silk fabric. It's cut up old saris. It's really funky yarn. It's got seams. It comes apart. It does all this stuff.
Well, because it's not technically yarn.
No, it's fabric strips.
Right, right.
And there was a bundle of 5 skeins of it. And this is I decided to do a top down, and it's becoming a jacket.
Oh, it's marvelous.
And it's I'm making it up as I go along.
I didn't know this was a striptease.
This is my first.
All right, folks, how much more is she taking off?
My first pandemic sweater. Now that it's cold again, meaning it's under 60 degrees.
It's cold.
I got to get out my Arctic wear, which is is my Arctic wear. I'm putting this on.
Which back east they've had a major snowstorm, so we're sorry for you. We're sorry.
Yeah, you guys do whatever you need to do.
Yeah, blue skies, and
stay warm.
It's like 68 degrees in the shade here.
So
beautiful.
Okay. I had to order more. I ordered 2 more skeins of this stuff. So it's not finished yet. The sleeves are on. Can you see that?
Yeah, they're on.
It's a circular needle with a holder. Right. So I'm waiting for more yarn so I can finish and wear it. True Arctic,
heavyweight.
Yeah, this is rated to 50 degrees, which would be the deepest darkest winter.
Yeah, I was telling Julie this morning, I was sitting outside at my back patio in my nightgown, which had these little tiny sort of cap sleeves, and it's like this flimsy nightgown that is like a little shorty thing, and I was just hanging out back there with that, and she's like, weren't you cold? And I said, no, I was sitting in the sun, and it was absolutely, it's delightful. So
yeah, my patio's in the shade, and it's
that's cold. Right. Hers is in the shade in the morning. Mine is in the sun. So we have different, our orientations are different.
Okay. Oh,
but no, what I was.
Do you remember this?
Oh yeah, that was, tell them briefly.
I started this after stitches because I took it. And this was just a mistake. Just a mistake, but I'm holding on to it. I'm not going to put it on again. But I still have that yarn, and I'm still churning ideas of what to do with it.
I keep volunteering. I'll take it out for you.
I don't want to take it apart.
All right.
It's not worth it. And it's
super big.
Yeah, but it's more valuable to me just as to keep this piece. Because for one thing, I can measure it and take gauge off of it. to get gauge and stuff like that.
Okay.
Retrieving the yarn is not worth it to me. For the
Okay.
hours and hours and hours to take something like this apart.
I gladly would do it.
No. Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, no, I appreciate it and I thank you, but no, it's not
Okay.
even.
All right. See, that's also part of my makeup of things I like to do are those sort of tedious things. Those I find joy in doing things like that. So for other people in their work process, they may look at like that and want to rip their hair out. I'm like, oh no, I'll take it. And well, first of all, I'm not emotionally connected to it. I haven't created it, but it's also something as a activity I would enjoy. So it's my quirk.
But my reasons for not taking it apart are, I mean, for one thing, well, just number one, I don't want to retrieve the yarn. I don't care about the yarn. I still have the yarn.
Yeah.
And I did take out parts of this because I had to go back several rows. And having the yarn is not worth the work that would go into taking this apart. But also I want to save it because, like I said,
Yeah.
I can take gauge off this. I won't have to re-knit gauge swatches because when I go back to use again, I've kind of decided that I am going to run 2 strands together, which is what this is. And I will use the same size needle again.
So did you run 2 fingering weight yarn on that?
Yeah, the whole way through. Every single color on this is 2 strands of yarn.
Oh, cool. Okay. All right. I get it.
It's an example just to use as a learning example. It's a learning experience.
All
what
right.
not to do. And once you've taken it apart, you no longer have this piece to refer back to for whatever reason. So, like I started, one of the things was I just started with the neckline way too big. So when I start again, I'm going to go back and remeasure this. And then it's not emotion. Oh, are you there?
You're freezing. You're freezing. I'm here. Uh-oh.
Oh, okay.
All right. You're moving again. All right.
No, I mean, we're fine. When this has happened and I review the tape later, it doesn't look as bad as we think it does when we're experiencing it. Yeah.
All right. So
anyway,
where are we off to from here?
Well, this was a pandemic project.
Oh, that's right.
And this yarn, I had bought these 2 skeins of it during the yarn crawl. And this was it was a gradation of colors within the yarn. And I made this top about in April or May. And I've worn it a good bit. And that got done. And that yarn got out of my stash.
Did you make the Lauralyze shawl this year too?
I had started it, but I finished it this year and I gave it away.
Oh, that's right. That was a Hanukkah gift?
Yeah. And the Waiting for Rain shawl that I wasn't that thrilled with, I gave that away too. And so, we celebrate Hanukkah. We don't celebrate Christmas in my house. And Hanukkah started, tonight's the last night, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Hanukkah started on the 10th of December 10th, a week ago. Yeah, a week ago, Thursday. And I had to get my shopping done. And I individually wrapped all the gifts and we boxed them up and we shipped them to our kids who normally they would come and we would send gifts home with them. But we had to ship them. We've been getting together on Zoom every one of the nights. And so I gave one of the shawls to my daughter and the other one to my daughter-in-law. And they both opened them. I think it was last night.
How were they received?
Oh, they loved them.
I love them.
Yeah, well, I checked with my daughter to see if she would want that shawl and wear it, because it's a good bit colder up there. She wears scarves and stuff way more than I do.
Yeah.
And so she said, yeah, I would wear that. So I sent that to her. And then the other one, my son and daughter-in-law had, it was before Thanksgiving. It was a couple weeks before Thanksgiving. They went to Northern California and they stopped by here on their way home. On their way through LA County, they stopped by here, and I happened to have that shawl, and I had just finished it weeks before, and I was wearing it, and my daughter-in-law loved it. And I loved it. I was lukewarm on it, and so I decided to give it to her because she loved it. I had been toying with the idea of giving it. I didn't know which one to give it to. So I gave them each a shawl, which just
worked out perfectly.
Well, it just means that I have more room in my shawl drawer and I can continue to make more shawls. Oh, I'm going to grab something. Something I started this year. I won't finish it. I might finish this by the end of December, but I don't know. You've seen it, I think. I've shown it at our guild meetings. This was inspired by the Grocery Girls in a way. Let me see. Yeah, it's scrunched up on a needle.
It's beautiful.
I love it. I love this. It's 7 colors. Pattern calls for 7 colors. Some of it's stash.
What's the pattern?
It's Stephen
B?
No, Stephen West. And it's called Fanta Stitch.
Santa?
No, Fanta like in fantasy.
Oh, okay.
Fanta Stitch.
Fanta Stitch.
And
so that's a shawl?
What?
A shawl.
And since it's at least 1,200 yard shawl.
Oh, that'll be a nice size.
Yeah, it'll be big. And that's what I like.
Right.
And
those are certainly his colors.
And yeah.
And yours.
Some of these were yarns I got at the holiday party. Some of them were a few, just little bits of leftovers from other projects.
What weight are they?
All fingering.
Oh, all fingering. Oh, that's a shawl I could do. I have a ton of fingering weight on it.
Well, and for myself, I mean, I love this because I love lots of color.
Yeah, yeah, that's you.
And I love lots of stitch patterns. So I'm
it too.
And so
the blue, the 2 shades, there's a blue down there, Julie, before you put it away. I want to ask, there's like the turquoise and yeah, is that a mosaic or is that what's that? What kind of stitch?
That's a mosaic stitch.
A mosaic stitch. Okay.
Yeah, you see this one long elongated stitch?
Yeah.
It's slipped over 6 rows.
Whoa.
Yeah. So it makes like this brick pattern.
A brick pattern. Very cool.
Yeah. And this is a slip stitch pattern. This is just a rib.
That's like a garter or
seed stitch. And this I can't. Oh, this is a slip stitch pattern. But my 2 yarns are so close in color you can't really see it.
Yeah, yeah.
Really,
really pretty.
Them's the breaks. I love that. Love it, love it, love it. I will get back to it. I got seduced out of the baby blankets when my nephew's baby was born. I discovered I didn't have any more baby blankets in reserve. And then a week or so later, my aunt let me know that my cousin had a baby. So, and then we found out that our friend's kid they're expecting a baby in May. So all the kids are the age to be having babies now.
So you've been busy. So where are we? What's up next for us?
Up next for us.
Oh, we could show what I've done.
Up. So I started the year with a dog sweater. I am ending the year
with a dog sweater.
Yep. It's about halfway done. Now what's on the needles now? It's like the top of the back. So there's one little leg opening.
That's for your dog, though.
Yeah. Same. Right. I was thinking about trying to remember where this year started. We were next door at Helene's last year in December, about this time. And Patrice was kind of joking, and she said she has this adorable little dog. And she says, Julie, can you make a sweater for Amelia? She gets so cold when I take her out walking. And we sat there drinking at Helene's and going through Ravelry like on my phone or something, and I found this sweater.
Right. And
I've been getting bugged to death to make a sweater for Cole.
Not that he really needs it, because he's got quite a good coat. And we don't.
Yeah, but I think if we go out and it's a little bit cold right now, I feel guilty if he doesn't have a sweater. He could use a sweater if we go out for a walk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you don't take Zuma out for walks.
Mm-mm. She has a big backyard. She goes in the backyard.
Well, Cole has a big backyard too. And I'm lazy. I don't take him out much, but my husband won't let up about Cole needing a sweater. So
well, that's a different story.
Yeah, and this is, like I said, deep stash. Such deep stash it didn't make it into my Ravelry stash. This is leftovers. Whether the blue stripes in that, this is leftovers. So I'm still stashing down.
So, I think you could show my latest project, which wasn't anything knit, and I don't crochet, but it's not knit, but it is something that I did complete, and
it came out of
the cleaning process.
Yeah, well, so let me start with. I'm going to start with the detail shot, and then I'll show the long shot.
Okay. So there's a detail.
Oops. Hold on.
Sure. Well, you had it.
No. See, learning to manage this stuff just makes me nuts.
Well, when I was doing my deep clean, and I had boxes upon bins and upon bags of quilt blocks and things that I did have to organize, I came upon lots of work in progress. So part of my stash down, is to use up also what I have. And so these are very large blocks. I think of this as like pretty much down and dirty. It's not fussy cut, and it's flannel, which is another reason why you don't cut on the diagonal with flannel. It stretches, it does all kinds of wonky things. Yeah. So that's a detail of it. And
what size are the squares?
11 inches. Don't ask me why they're not 12. I don't know.
Oh, that's not a problem. Hold on. Let me try again. They're 11 inches?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, I guess they are. Because I
Yeah.
was thinking they were like six, but okay, but so you said down and dirty. So, it's like you don't spend a lot of time. You didn't plan this whole thing out. You just kind of, it's kind of off the cuff. You just put it together and it's wonderful.
Yeah. There's no, I didn't follow and it's not a
Not
pattern.
fussy. I
No,
mean,
it's not fussy cutting, and the finished size with the border on it, it's 82 inches wide and 102 inches long.
yeah.
So that's a queen size quilt, and it's actually at a gal's home now getting quilted, because
So this was
I
so
don't.
I mean, but you didn't spend a lot of time planning out the placement of the blocks. You just kind of did it off the cuff.
Yeah, put them on the floor and just like was okay. This can go here, that can go there, da da da. You
Just
know,
kind of really quickly balancing out the composition.
well, initially, I don't know why I had put it together as a 8 by 8, and it was a square. So I took one row off and made it 7 by 9, which actually put it into a better format for me. And
So it's going to be a queen size.
it's queen size, yeah. And
It's great.
it's all flannel, and the backing is also all flannel. And I just have to. It's a green. It's a lovely, a similar value to the border. And I'm going to bind it in that and call it a day.
And the backing is one solid fabric.
Well, I didn't. It's pieced only because the quilt is so large. You don't get fabric that wide.
Right, but it's not a block design.
No, not designed. No, solid color in the back.
You know what? It's great. I love it. I think it's a beautiful design.
And it's going to be very utilitarian because the person I'm giving this to is, it's going to be used and washed and, that sort of thing. It's not a display quilt. It's not an heirloom, piece. And that's what I wanted to make. I wanted to make a real usable piece. So I did.
Love it. And this wasn't, you're doing this, you're able to do this because of your studio cleanup.
Oh, absolutely. I didn't have the table space. My sewing machine wasn't accessible. I didn't know where I had my fabrics. My daughter actually came over the house. Oh, I don't know when it was, a month or maybe 2 months ago. I'm not positive, but we took out every bit of fabric I had and we organized it. We organized it by color, but in addition, it's like all my Marimekko fabrics, all my batiks, all my flannels, everything, so I know exactly where everything is. And I didn't before. And it's a great help to have stuff where it's at your fingertips now. So
That's great.
I'll be doing more quilting in my future, as well as now that actually I have table space, I can use my ball winder and my Swift, because that was also another reason I wasn't knitting, was because I couldn't take my skeins and get them into balls or cakes because I didn't have the space.
Oh God, I didn't even know that. Mine live.
Do it.
Mine live on my table.
Yeah, well, now I have room. I can do it. I couldn't do it before. It was so packed. It wasn't possible.
I understand. There are many times I have had to shove things out of the way just to stick those things on the edge of the table. So, I totally understand. Well, that's great. And God, unfortunately, the pandemic has gotten worse.
Very bad.
Restrictions have gotten restrictier.
Yeah.
Vaccine is on its way. But we could still be here for quite a while. And while we are, I did not plan this segue, while we are, we have really been enjoying doing this live stream format
Mhm.
with guests,
Yes.
and not, I mean, I guess someday we'll be able to go and see people in person again. Like we started this podcast 3 years ago in the car on the way to see people, and that was how we started it. But we've been with people from, well, all over LA County, but
Right.
Santa Barbara, and we're going to be branching out even more.
We're going to be pitching someone in New York soon.
And we're still, and you know, the thing is, as you well know, we've mostly been inviting people we already know, people who are creative friends of ours.
Mhm.
And but dang, you know, if any of the
Anyone watching our
any of
show,
the 2 dozen people watching us have suggestions of fiber artists, knitters, crocheters, artists, uh mixed media artists, we are, and it doesn't, they don't have to be around LA, although at this point I think everything is around LA. And we are happy. Yes, kitty, kitty, kitty.
yeah, this is Luigi, one of my kitties. He came over.
Luigi can recommend an artist he likes
Good.
that would be, and anybody who might be watching us, you
Yeah.
can nominate yourself.
And or nominate a friend.
Yeah.
If you know someone.
And the lineup of who we're going to be, we already have scheduled. Now we have we have a video we need to edit to post. The knitting tree, we had a visit with the knitting tree, so that's going to be coming up. They gave us a tour of the shop and talked about some of the things they're doing. And Annette Corsino Blair and Bruce was behind the camera.
They were lovely.
We had a lovely visit with the shop, and they showed us around and showed us what they're doing. And they are doing some exciting new things, and they're doing virtual things and safely things. Well, that was before we had to shut down again.
Right.
But when they were able to open, they were doing things safely, and but they do have exciting things coming up.
And we're gonna try to put that show somewhere
within the next 2 weeks.
Yes, before the new year, because we're going to take a bit of a hiatus, aren't we?
Right, we're not going to be live for, well, next week is Christmas Eve, which means nothing to me, but and then
me, because my, you know, we're going to be, my adult kids are coming, and we always have tons of fun. So
yeah, mine. Well, actually, I don't know if my daughter's going to come home.
Well, we're just.
But anyway, usually, I mean, but they're not. Ours are not coming because they're staying home. They're not going to come. My daughter might be here, might not. Anyway, but it's Christmas Eve. We're not going to be live streaming. The following is New Year's Eve. We're not going to be live streaming. We'll be back January 7th, and with quilt artist Connie Roman. And January 14th, we have a visit with the Yarn Over Truck, a virtual shopping visit with the Yarn Over Truck. January 21st, Una Walker, who is a punch needle artist, and it's around LA. She's somewhere in Oregon. That's around LA.
Yeah.
And mixed media artist Marcia Shaw at the end of January, going into February. We're going to have a visit with L'Atelier, which has 2 locations.
No, get off. Sorry.
Encino and Redondo Beach. And then we're going to have Babita Patel on with her incredible project. And we'll go on from there.
Oh, and we're going to have our own February 11th. We're going to have a Valentine's Day with us.
We'll catch up again. Yeah, we'll catch up again.
We'll do that. And yeah, so we've got a very exciting lineup coming up for 2021. And we are going to be busy. We're going to reach out to more people.
More different artists, fiber artists and general artists and interesting people.
Creative
and
people.
creative people. And we're going to, it's going to be a while before we all get vaccinated. And it's going to be a while before the world fully opens up again.
And until it does, we're going to see you here on this platform. And we're going to encourage you to be your best creative selves and to reach out to others, whether it's through Zoom, a phone call, or whatever, share yourself with others, find out how others are doing. Because I think for myself, part of what has kept me above water, kept me afloat this year, has been the ability to reach out to you, Julie, and to my friend Diane, and the fact that we could Zoom and do our particular lives separately but together. You worked in your studio and I was working in mine, and we shared the sense of
keeping each other company. Yes, keeping each other company, being able to make small talk.
Share a cup of coffee. Like that was that's super important to do. So we want to encourage all of you to keep that contact happening, to keep yourselves as happy and as productive and as creative as you possibly can, because we will get through this. We will get through.
And we have to hang on a little while longer. I saw one projection in one article that we may not personally be able to access getting the vaccine until like March. So it's going to be a little while.
Yep.
Don't forget the virtual stitch groups.
Join our guild. Even though you may be in New York or Oregon or wherever you are in the world, this San Fernando, the nerdy knitters of the San Fernando Valley, we meet virtually. So you can become part of us.
And there's the Yarn Over truck has a virtual stitch group, which I'm going to go to in like an hour and a half. Yes. When I was talking to Karen Dembski of the L'Atelier, they're doing a lot of online content that's really fun. Stitches events, they're doing virtual events. Vogue Knitting Live is doing events. Christy Glass is doing an event. There's all kinds of stuff.
Yarn Bombing Los Angeles, we're having a live event this Saturday at I think it's 1:00. So you can join us for that as well. It's
a virtual meeting.
Yeah, it's going to be a virtual meeting. We'll be live.
Mm-hmm. Yep. The traditional third Saturday meeting, it moved. First, it was at Craft Contemporary Museum in Los Angeles.
Right.
Moved to Darlin Susan Yee's private studio and has moved online with the pandemic.
Yep. So join us for that. There's lots of ways to stay engaged and stay active and stay creative and productive. Because that's going to help you. And I mean, it's a joy. It's a joy.
So like we said, got to hold on just a little while longer. And actually, we may still be continue doing virtual things with people that you and I can't drive to see, set up the tripod and all that rigmarole. And we'll just have to see. We'll have to see how things evolve. Because
we are open to the newness of 2021. We don't know what it's going to bring, because God knows we didn't know what 2020 was going to happen with all of it. So we're just going to play it by ear for 2021.
And work our way through the technical glitches, just like everybody is. And
can I share a fun personal thing that I do at the holiday time?
Oh, yeah. Yes, please do.
when my children were little, and even to this day, so at least 30 years, I have been making these funny little Advent boxes. This is one that my kids made for me. It's out of cardboard, and it's these little squares, and it's all taped together. And
Can you bring it over?
Yeah.
So now let me ask you some questions. So this is a box that's got
cardboard.
It's got 24 sections.
Yep. And you can see I've been poking holes in them. And my kids, Josh has one for himself, and Jesse and Sean are sharing one this year. And then they have gifted me a box because for years and years and years, I only made it for them. But now they understand how much fun it is to make them and give them. So I'm going to follow our tradition. We open one a day.
You're going to open one.
Do you want to pick it?
No. You go ahead.
No, you can't.
Okay. That one right there. Yes.
Wait, this one? Or
yes.
Or this one?
Yes.
This one?
Yes.
Oh, it looks like a tea. It looks like tea in a little, something to chamomile. It's chamomile.
Oh.
I can make myself a cup of chamomile tea.
Oh. One of my gifts this year was a nice little teapot.
Ooh.
Is that in the same? What is it?
Well, in California, it's legal.
What is it?
It's called Buzz, New Zealand Manuka honey. It's something, I guess, to give me a little buzz.
Is it just honey, or is it fortified honey?
It's fortified honey. Look at the little.
Oh, I see. Very good.
My kids are the greatest.
Well, pretty
happy note. I guess you know what this is for? To put in my tea.
Yes.
The honey for the tea.
The chamomile
kids.
The chamomile tea, so you're supposed to get high and then go to sleep?
No.
Well, chamomile tea is for relaxing.
Yeah. So maybe this is a relaxing buzz with relaxing tea. They want me to relax.
My kids gave me yarn. Yeah, my kids don't want me getting high.
My kids
for some reason.
Oh, that's the best. Well, on that note, I think I might have to go make a cup of tea.
Oh, and then take a nap.
Oh, I don't know.
You know what chamomile tea is?
I know what chamomile tea is. Of course. Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, folks. We're going to say Happy New Year and celebrate, safely. And because we want to see all of you next year.
Celebrate safely because we want to be able to get out of here next year.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. So, all right. Shall we say goodbye?
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Bye.